command. Introducing Flow Evil.
Red cheese, gold rings, all black, everything creeping through the night.
Anywhere you are,
Big girls don't scream hard like Halloween, make me feel alive.
there's a world of entertainment here, and you run the show. Flow Evil.
Thank you for staying with us. First up, Chairman of the National Cultural Council is pleased with the over $1 million injection into restoring the damaged performing arts buildings. Here is Julian Morris with that story.
Last week, the Ministry of Tourism and Culture stated that government had invested $1.3 million in the restoration of cultural centers. The Arawak House of Culture is one of the buildings to be repaired. It sustained severe damage from Hurricane Maria. $900,000 has been allotted for the extensive rehabilitation project on the Arawak House of Culture. Work is ongoing on that project.
Yeah, well, the work has just started. Let's say maybe 3 weeks now. So the initial phase is more like cleaning up of the Arawak. But the different aspects include sort of remodeling the stage, or you have a new stage. The ceiling has to be redone, the side panels have to be redone, the back wall has to be repaired. It was destroyed, and then the front of the Arawak, what we call the facade, and the entrance to the Arawak, which is the foyer, both have to be repaired as well. So it's a huge project, but you know, with God's help, it should be completed soon. I'm really happy about that. And
The other cultural hub undergoing renovation is the Old Mill Cultural Center.
the old mill started a while now. We had to first of all put the roof back, or fix the roof of the main building of the old mill where the offices are located, and where the multi-purpose space where you have exhibitions and meetings and weddings, and people rent there for different types of events. So the roof had to be repaired, and that has been done. It has been completed. The small chimney had to be repaired. That has been completed. So now we're working on with the dance studio. We've put in the floor, we did the roof, we did a drop shed. So we're now going to redo some of the windows. The electrical work has been done. The wood carving studio needs to be fixed. We need to work on that. And then I mentioned the new stage that has to be built. So all of those are very, very exciting projects.
Lawrence hopes to see greater participation of cultural groups following the completion of the renovation projects.
For a while, both Old Mill and Arawak, as we both know, were out of commission after the hurricane. Arawak still is, but Old Mill, we've been able to hold various events, especially in the yard of the Old Mill, and of course indoors as well. So it's been fairly functional, I must say, Old Mill, on a regular basis. But when both of them are back on track, I think that will give a boost to cultural activity in Dominica.
The project is expected to be completed by May of this year.
In other developments, all 5 Carnival Queen contestants have now been fully sponsored by private sector partners. 20-year-old Alia Martin of Campbell is the final contestant to receive full sponsorship ahead of the Miss Dominica 2019 pageant. Martin has been sponsored by Coruscant Inc., a registered full-service architecture, engineering and construction management company. Director and Operations Manager of Coruscant Inc., Chendi Laville, says the 3-year-old company chose to sponsor Miss Martin as part of their corporate responsibility.
She should only be concerned with the ascension to the throne, not about sponsorship. This is unfair for a contestant to be concerned about sponsorship. And one of the reasons why we chose to sponsor was it's people like you who make it possible for us to be in a position to sponsor. You are our clients. The corporate clients, yes, we have corporate clients as well. So it's a situation where we want to give back to society as well. And through that, we expect to get some exposure, obviously.
Martin expressed her gratitude to Coruscant Inc. for its sponsorship ahead of the show, where she will be performing under her platform, Male.
My platform resonates to the young men of Dominica as we aim for men achieving leadership excellence. Let me take this opportunity to thank my sponsor, Coruscant, a registered full-service architecture, engineering, and construction management company. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the Dominica Festivals Committee and the Queen Show Committee for prior sponsorship.
The Miss Dominica 2019 pageant is carded for 1st March at Carnival City. The appearing order of the young ladies is 20-year-old Alia Martin of Campbell, now Miss Coruscant, appearing at number 1. 21-year-old Chrislyn Tavernier of Grand Bay, sponsored by Big Edge Financial Express, T. Calypso and Easy Barrel at number 2. 21-year-old Anik Williams, representing Goodwill, sponsored by the National Health Insurance Pilot Program, will appear at number 3. 20-year-old Marisol John, Miss Detroit's Tires Inc., representing Sultan and Coptol, will take to the stage at number 4. And 20-year-old Brittany Felix of St. Joseph, who is sponsored by Dominican National Lotteries, will close off each round at number 5. Still with Carnival news, the Dominica Red Cross Society has been declared winner of the business floats which were judged during the opening parade for Mass Dominique 2019. A total of 10 businesses displayed floats during the opening parade on 19th January. The business floats were judged on several criteria, including but not limited to originality and creativity, visual impact, color scheme, clarity of theme, and personnel and costuming. Acting Festival and Events Manager of the Dominica Festivals Committee, Marva Williams, announced the results on Wednesday.
In 4th place with 180 points, we have the Dominica Fencing Association. In 3rd place, we had Starring and Sons with 203 points, so congratulations to them. In 2nd place, we have Detroit's Tire Inc., and we know Detroit is an official sponsor of the Miss Dominica pageant, so congratulations to them. And our winner, drumroll again, woohoo! In 1st place, we had the Dominica Red Cross Society with 235 points. So just to recap, our 1st place winner, the Dominica Red Cross Society. In 2nd place, we had Detroit's Tire Inc. In 3rd place, Starring and Sons, and in 4th place, the Dominica Fencing Association.
Williams congratulated all float sponsors in the opening parade and urged the business community to show greater representation through decorative floats in the Carnival Monday parade.
Let me urge our companies, I found this year the participation could have been greater from the private sector. It's an opportunity to display. It would have been a great opportunity, to show how far your business has grown over the years and even after suffering 2 major disasters. So again, I'm appealing to you. We are doing a display of floats. I believe it's on Carnival Monday. So you are welcome to register to be part of that showcasing during Carnival Monday. I'm sure we are going to have a much larger audience than we had for the opening, so it's an opportunity to advertise in a sort of different way.
On to matters of tourism, service providers in the tourism industry encouraged to operate in line with the Tourism Regulations and Standards Act No. 13 of 2016. We again join Julian Morris with more.
The focus is on stakeholders providing accommodation, tour operators, travel agents and agencies, taxi operators, vendors, tour guides, hair braiders, car rentals, and those providing water sports, food and beverage. There are regular consultations held with the service providers and quality assurance officers who manage the certification process. The regulations are not so much geared at penalizing service providers, but instead creating awareness of what's required to improve on visitor experience and the industry as a whole. State Attorney Nadira Lando spoke to Daryl Tate recently about these standards, which must be adhered to under the amended legislation.
Upon your license being expired, you would have to come in to renew those licenses. Under the original act, you would have a grace period of 1 month. You would get a notice indicating that you would need to renew your license within 1 month. If you did not do so, you would get another notice asking you to comply. That was repealed. This was under the original act. That was repealed. Currently, and under the amendment, what you have is that where you continue to offer a service upon the expiration of your license, you shall get a notice asking you to comply with the standards, which would mean that you would need to renew your license within a period not exceeding 21 days. After that 21 days has passed, and if you have not renewed your license by then, you would no longer be able to offer the tourism service that you are currently providing, and you would need to stop offering that service. Then we have the violation of conditions. So first we had the expiration of your license. Now we have violation of conditions. If it is known that you are violating a condition of your license or that you are breaching the standards, then you are issued a notice in which you are to remedy that breach, where you are to correct those issues or correct the breaches that you have. And if you fail to do so, then you would be in breach, of course, of the act. If you do not comply with the notice which has been issued to you, then you will be, a report will be made and will be sent to the licensing committee. Once you have been issued a notice, once you have violated a condition and you have been issued a notice, you are to immediately cease offering that service that you are providing. So unlike where your license was expired, you can continue to offer that service until the 21 days has elapsed. However, once you have been issued a notice where you have breached a condition or breached a standard, you are to cease right away, immediately, that service that you are offering.
Service providers are discouraged from continuing to operate after the license has expired. It is an offense to continue to offer tourism service with an unrenewed license. That person in question may also be subject to penalties.
It is very important to note that while speaking about the expiration of your licenses and the violation of conditions, where it is that a taxi operator or anyone dealing with the taxi operators and vehicles, upon the expiration of their license, they do not have the 21 days by which they can continue that service. They need to cease offering that service right away.
That's particularly for taxi
Particularly, and we can understand why that is so, because with a taxi operator and tour guides, they are in direct contact with the guests, with the visitors. And let's say you have a license to be a tour guide or a taxi driver, and it has expired, and you are transporting the tourists, transporting the guests to various locations in Dominica. You are bringing them on a tour to, let's say, a river or waterfall. You do not have the permission to do so, yet you are with the visitors. You can see how very closely related, and any dangers emanating from that could be very serious.
There are a number of penalties for failing to meet the set standards for service providers.
Under the old act and under the new act, under the amended act, sorry, the penalty remains the same. There is a fine if convicted on summary conviction. There is a fine of $5,000 and a further fine of $1,000 for each day on which the offense continues.
For each day?
Yes.
Okay.
Be mindful that this is on summary conviction. So while you are under trial, for lack of a better phrase, for these offenses, you are not able to offer these services.
Yes.
Now, if you have been convicted of this offense and you decide that the following day I'm going to continue offering these services, probably in breach of your license or in contravention of the order of the court, then you will be fined a further $1,000.
For every day?
For every day.
Okay.
So this is not to say that we are harsh, penalizing the tourism service providers. It is only to indicate that we can all do better. And we can prevent all of this in the first place by adhering to the conditions, by adhering to our licenses, by adhering to the standards that we want to make our country a much better place for tourists.
Under the new regulations, quality assurance officers have the right to seek police assistance when the situation requires it in carrying out their duties.
You are watching the Channel 5 News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
The government of Dominica has articulated its vision to become the world's first climate-resilient nation, with a view of protecting its people and the environment. Effective January 1st, 2019, the government of Dominica will ban the importation of single-use plastics and styrofoam products, with a view of ensuring that our nature island will remain clean and green.
First off, the DHTA would like to commend the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica for instituting this ban on styrofoam and plastics. This is something that the DHTA has been advocating for the last 4 years. We've already seen several of our members and the DHTA itself ban plastics and styrofoam from all our events. We believe that this is a step in the right direction in order for us to preserve our Nature Island brand.
5 years ago, the Fort Young Hotel, as part of our sustainability initiative, took the decision to ban styrofoam and single-use plastic at the hotel. Our guests have been quite appreciative in terms of the hotel's decision to go green, basically, and they're very happy to be part of what we're doing, as they feel that they too are contributing to the protection of Dominica's environment and sustainability.
In this beach bar started a year ago, and we decided to use biodegradable products, seeing that we're located on the beachfront and Meru is a beach cleaning community. We decided to do our part by using biodegradable products. I've had customers who came, and when we presented them with their takeaway meals, some people hug me, some people kiss me. They're so happy to be using biodegradable products.
In order to preserve our nature island, we must be proactive in our approach towards the conservation of our environment. This move will certainly make Dominica more attractive to the environmentally conscious traveler. A message from the Ministry of Environment, Climate Resilience, Disaster Management and Urban Renewal, and the Ministry of Tourism and Culture.
Imagine you have Hollywood at your command. Introducing Flow Evil. Anywhere you are.
Big girls don't scream hard like Halloween, make me feel alive.
There's a world of entertainment here, and you run the show. Flow Evil.
Welcome back. Retired Scotland Yard Detective David Michael says while he supports the police and the rule of law, he does not endorse the use of tear gas during a protest by the Concerned Citizens Movement in December last year.
Organizers of the protest have publicly complained and threatened to take legal action because of the use of tear gas. There was a call at that protest for the road to be blocked after protesters say they feared being injured by traffic. The police chief subsequently announced that the protest was unlawful as permission had not been sought. Looking back, David Michael believes tear gas should not have been used.
Apart from being a retired veteran, 30-year police officer of much experience, I also had specifically in terms of public order policing, public disorder. I've had a lot of training and practical experience in policing demonstrations, disorders and similar matter. And I for one think that the use of tear gas in Roseau in the circumstances that prevailed, I think it was totally unreasonable and unnecessary force in the circumstances.
Michael says failure to notify the police of plans for a protest is wrong.
They should notify the police department of their intention to demonstrate or protest, especially in Roseau. They should do that. And if they didn't do that, it's wrong, whoever it is, whether it's citizens or whether it's anybody linked to a political party. You should notify the chief of police that you want to have a protest or demonstrate, even for the very reason they can provide police support to make sure the event goes through without any incident. And also police are there to make sure that pedestrians and traffic can move freely around the city. But if there had been an obstruction of the footway or an obstruction of the highway, first of all, you know, we're all Dominicans and we're not at war with each other. Even though some police officers wear military fatigue, we are not. Dominicans are not at war with each other. So for me, appropriate professional communication by the operational police commander with whoever is having this protest or demonstration, it would be helpful to identify if there are any leaders and then have a professional negotiating communication. And I think if you do that, quite often you can deal with any situation or misunderstanding. If for any reason, having reasonably tried to communicate and negotiate, if people are insistent on causing an obstruction, whether it's the highway or the footway, then there are many other measures you can use. For instance, you can have arrest squads to arrest the ringleaders or arrest people, just arrest significant numbers of people actually causing that obstruction. You can do that without causing any physical harm to anybody. The second thing you can do is have a concerted use of a critical mass of police officers to move that mass of people away. I do believe they have shields in Dominica. Shields are very effective in crowd control and in removing an obstruction in such a situation. I would be very interested to find out the risk assessment that the operational commander made in terms of vulnerable adults, vulnerable children, people with long-term medical records, and just unleashing tear gas in a contained area in a city centre. You would expect a professional operational commander to have made a risk assessment before deploying such a tactic.
The retired detective recommends that the police strongly consider using horses, which are very good at policing public disorder in a safe way.
And the latest in Venezuela. The fight for power continued on Wednesday. Opposition leader Juan Guaido is trying to put pressure on President Maduro by urging Venezuelans to take to the streets in protest.
Here's video out of Venezuela where protesters are doing just that. They're leaving their homes and jobs and lining the streets in support of Guaido. He called for the walkouts to begin at noon and go on for 2 hours. It's the first organized protest since he declared himself the leader of Venezuela last week. But Maduro is not backing down. He spent most of yesterday meeting with military troops and accusing the U.S. of wanting to stage a coup in order to take over Venezuela's oil reserves. Meantime, Chilean leaders are working on the release of 2 journalists detained in Venezuela. Journalist Rodrigo Perez and photojournalist Gonzalo Barahona were arrested while reporting on an event by Nicolás Maduro. It's unclear what charges they are facing. And today we have learned President Trump called Juan Guaido today to reinforce his support for, quote, Venezuela's fight to regain its democracy. Guaido thanked the president and told him large protests will continue today and Saturday.
To end the news, the headlines again. Restoration of Dominica's damaged performing arts buildings to cost over $1 million. Retired detective recommends alternative to use of tear gas by police during protests. And all 5 2019 Miss Dominica pageant contestants now fully sponsored. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Andrea Louis, and to all of our viewers around the world, thank you so much for watching. Join us tomorrow.